Hi everyone, it's Grace. Welcome to my channel. I post videos every single Sunday, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my best tips for virtual sorority recruitment. So this year, obviously because of coronavirus, sorority recruitment is unable to happen in person. I think every single school, as far as I know, is doing virtual sorority recruitment, which means that it's going to be pretty different. In terms of like the questions and the days of recruitment, that should all be the same, but the experience that you might get doing something virtually could be different, especially if you're not preparing properly or if your level of comfortability is different when you are like on a webcam. So I wanted to give some of my tips for sorority recruitment. I joined my sorority about 2 years ago, I think now, and I went through informal sorority recruitment, so I actually never went through formal fall recruitment, but I've been on the other side of that type of recruitment for 2 years now, and I think that going into virtual sorority recruitment could be really intimidating for people, so I wanted to give some of my best tips. If your college campus for whatever reason is doing in-person, these tips also apply, but like I don't really know why they'd be doing in-person, because like COVID. My very first tip is to do your research. Now, there are a lot of layers to this. First of all, always Google fraternity and sorority community at your school before ever joining. Like Greek life in general there. Feel out what the vibe is. Is it a go Greek or go home campus? Is that something you want out of your Greek life experience? Then the next part is to Google all of the chapters that are involved in the council that you are joining. Depending on which council you're looking to join, you'll want to research the organizations that are a part of it. So look through all of the chapters and not just like going to their website and seeing what they have to offer, but also Google them. See if they've had any scandals and how they've handled them. Look up what their history is. If there's a ton of like really problematic things that are all linked to one chapter, then maybe you don't want to join that one. Along with the research part, you want to make sure you're looking at their Instagram accounts. Like, did they post anything regarding Black Lives Matter? Did they post anything for Pride Month? Are they featuring BIPOC sisters on their Instagram page? If it's literally an entire page of just white girls, maybe it ain't it. I mean, maybe that's your vibe, but maybe that ain't it. Do your research, look into that, because a lot of sororities use their Instagram pages as a reflection of their actual organization. Also in the same research thing is to write down your values before you actually go through recruitment and before you look at other organizations' values. You don't want to be influenced by whatever their values are. Like say you are really looking at one organization and you're like, yeah, this looks like a great fit for me, and you know their values are friendship and service, let's just say, then you might feel more apt to say, well, yeah, I also value friendship and service, but that might not have been the first thing that you thought of when you asked yourself what your values are. So write down your values before looking into organizations and see where you actually align. Values are just one portion of an organization. Like they also will have philanthropies and different sisterhood events and things like that that you might also be really attracted to, but make sure you're kind of doing that reflection before you look at the organization. In the same vein, make sure you're looking at their philanthropies before you join. Philanthropy is usually a pretty large portion of what organizations do, but it's not the entire thing, and you can care about causes without it being like your number one passion. For example, if an organization really cares about animals, let's say, you can care about animals, although that might not be like your number one social justice topic of choice, but look at them ahead of time because that will help you guide your decision as well. The second tip is to dress comfy. If you are doing virtual sorority recruitment, we cannot see anything that is from here down. So wear the sweatpants. Don't feel like you need to wear any type of uncomfortable jeans or skirt or whatever because we can't see it. We don't know that it's there. Wear something cute on top. Usually the councils will release like a dress code for the week. So make sure that you're following whatever that dress code is. Although like if someone judges you so hard because you didn't show up in something they told you to wear, then that organization just like doesn't need you, because like that's rude. But make sure you're wearing whatever they tell you to wear on top if you can, and then just wear something comfy on the bottom because we're not going to see it. The third tip is to make sure that you're testing your audio and your connection before you actually go on. So if your recruitment is going to be over Zoom, try to set up a Zoom meeting with a friend or something early and make sure that they can fully hear you and that it's not like going in and out, because you're only going to have so much time with each person in each chapter, and so you want to make sure that they can hear you and that they know what you're saying so that you can actually foster that connection with that person in that organization. The last tip is to ask the hard questions. Ask them, what do your diversity and inclusion programs look like? How do you support LGBTQ sisters? How do you support BIPOC sisters? What about your philanthropy is meaningful to you? Why did you join this group? If they can't answer those questions, it means that those things aren't actually as embedded into the sorority culture there as you may think they are. If they can't answer what their diversity and inclusion programs are, girl, run, get the heck out of there. You don't need it. If they're not able to answer it, that means that it is not embedded into the sorority culture as much as it should be. That means that maybe it was mentioned, but nothing ever happened with it. By asking the hard questions, you're really going to be able to see how sisters are able to answer them or not able to answer them, and that will tell you so much about the sorority and the culture that they have within that chapter. Definitely look up some questions to ask before you go into recruitment, because you want to try to get out of that conversation as much as you possibly can, and you want to make sure that you're actually learning, like, is this organization going to be a good fit for me? So make sure that you're kind of researching those questions ahead of time, thinking about what you really want to know and what you care about, and actually asking them in those rounds. It may be a little bit awkward to ask them because they might be asking you questions, but all you have to do is just say, hey, I actually had a couple questions for you, do you mind if I ask? And they'll usually just be like, yeah, of course, because we want you to ask us questions, and then ask them. And again, pay attention to the reaction, pay attention to how they actually respond when you ask them those hard questions, because it will tell you a lot more about their organization than I think you'll even get out of most conversations in recruitment. So those are my biggest tips for virtual sorority recruitment. Like I said before, they kind of are the same for regular recruitment. It's just a little bit more important, I think, this year, because you're gonna have limited time and it's gonna be a little bit different trying to communicate over some type of like Zoom or WebEx application. I hope that these tips were helpful. If you have questions about sorority recruitment, definitely leave them down in the comments below. I usually reply to every single comment on my videos, and I will definitely be answering recruitment questions if you have any. And thanks for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And of course, subscribe, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye!